This is not a list of games released in 2021. I didn't play a single one. Well, I did play Halo Infinite multiplayer, but for the most part I just played older games because I never got to play them during my childhood. So now when I'm finally capable of doing it, I'm covering things that I've missed and I had an absolute blast doing so. From getting enchanted by the gorgeous sceneries in Witcher 3 to being engulfed in the forlorn lands of Dark Souls 3. From easing away against the covetous demon in Dark Souls 2 to sweating it out against Hornet in Hollow Knight just to grab a win. It was a hell of an experience, constantly filled with sheer amazement with a few disappointments in between. But overall, as I said, it was an absolute blast. Now of course, all of them did not impress me equally. Some were good, some were bad, some were amazing, and some just blew me away. Hello everyone, this is the Random Rookie and here is my list of top 5 games that I played during this year. But before that, here's the list of all the games that I played in 2021. Starting at number 5, I have Witcher 3. Frankly speaking, there are some other games that if I would have finished or would have played, would have pushed this game out of the list. I don't mean to say that Witcher 3 is a bad game. It is a great game, it is a good game, but I have certain problems with it. Problems with the gameplay aspect of it mainly. But I won't go too deep into it right now. I want to line up my thoughts, reanalyze stuff, and see if my opinion changes later. But to give a basic overview, Witcher 3 excels as a storyteller. This aspect of the game shines not only in the main story but in the side quests also. And it was always very intriguing to find out how things will turn out in every event that I came across in this game. The world felt alive with NPCs going on about with their own lives, the quests actually existing without me picking them up. I can just randomly come across them while exploring, and apart from that I also come across other events that are not available as official quests. Combine that with the gorgeous landscape to treat my eyes with, it was a very good experience. On the negative side though, the massive number of cutscenes, some unbearably long, and of course gameplay aspects like combat, the Witcher senses, etc. dampen the experience. However, as I said, I need to think things through a bit more and play some more games to build a sort of understanding about what this game has to offer. But as of now, in this list, Witcher 3 is my number 5. At number 4, I have Devil May Cry 5. The franchise's return to its main line after the decent reboot. I liked the reboot, I had fun with it, but it wasn't Devil May Cry fun. Before this game, my favorite in this series was Devil May Cry 4. I loved its combat. There was nothing more satisfying than air comboing enemies, slamming demons with Nero's Devil Bringers, stingering through tough enemies in Dante's Devil Trigger form, and so much more. There wasn't a game that was more suitable for a combat fanatic like me. The power fantasy was fulfilled by this game. So after the so-so reboot, it was great to see the original timeline being restored, bringing back the old cast of cheesy characters with the movesets that were again based on the old ones but now a lot more improved. A hell lot more improved. To the point that I at times felt a bit overwhelmed, especially when I am handed Dante with his enormous arsenal that can fully equip at least 2 other persons if he chooses to share. The graphical upgrades also contributed to the overall experience. The cutscenes felt more satisfying, the action, the moves looked amazing with the animations. Overall, it was an adrenaline-filled experience. Complaints, well, there are quite a few of them, or at least there will be if I really put my thought into it. But for me personally, Devil May Cry is not about things like story or world consistency and things like that. It's about the
smoke is sexy style!
Going by the list of games I've played, I'm pretty sure most of the people are already expecting to see this game make it up here somewhere. At number 3, I have the finale to the Dark Souls series, Dark Souls 3. In my opinion, this one has the best combat in the entire series. The combat mechanics of Dark Souls 1 brought into the game and then just upped the pace and intensity and also sprinkled in some additional mechanics and complications. It's simply one of the best combat experiences that I have experienced. Anyways, this improvement in the combat system had a massive positive impact on another aspect of this game. its bosses. Dark Souls 3 bosses were just epic. Honestly, that statement kind of falls short. The level of challenge and the intensity the boss battles had in this game was something that I never experienced before. I say they actually felt like bosses, strong, intimidating, and rightfully being the top dogs. Although there were a few misses here and there, but for the most part the devs did an exceptional job in this part of the game. I don't think anyone will ever forget the likes of Abyss Watchers, Pontiff, Nameless King, and if you want to go into the DLCs, Sister Frida, or maybe Sister Fried, I don't know how to pronounce that, Gale, and the list just goes on. Apart from all that, the game also got a good graphical upgrade. It is the best looking game amongst the From lineup in my opinion, and of course the atmosphere and lore and everything that makes Dark Souls special are there, except for the interconnected level design. My complaints against this game would be that it didn't use the weapon arts system too well, and by the very end of the game, by the very end I mean Ring City DLC area, felt really tedious and tiresome. I don't know, I kinda lost my interest at that point, and the only thing that kept me going were the boss encounters. I have to say I was in two minds about this. I wanted to put this in number 1, but that spot in the end belongs to another. Now Dark Souls, well, do I really need to say anything about this game? From atmosphere to storytelling to level design, toss in the combat system and enemy design. This game is hard to criticize against. It's a kind of game that just does its thing and pulls the player without even making them realize when. At least that's what happened to me. I never expected myself to even like this game, but once I started playing it, I just didn't want it to ever end. It's like that feeling when a series or a movie that you really enjoy, dived into, is coming to an end, you know it, and you don't want that to happen. You already start sensing that hollowness in you, and when it finally ends, you need to deal with that hollow feeling that just doesn't get satisfied with anything. My experience with Dark Souls was exactly the same. Complaints, well, I don't really have any. People say that the endgame was poor, mainly after Anor Londo, but honestly, I don't have any complaints in that part either. Maybe I'm short-sighted or shallow-sighted if that's even a word, but I can't think of anything to complain about. Except for one thing, I just remembered while speaking. Moonlight Butterfly was pretty lame, and so are some of the bosses. They were kind of weak. Quite dramatic. The reason why Bioshock isn't here because I have just started playing it as of writing the script. By the way, the playthrough is up on the channel if it may interest you, and so are videos of other games. But coming back to Bioshock, up to this point, the environment-based storytelling, the environment itself, is really compelling, and the gunplay mechanics also feel solid. I strongly believe that I'll thoroughly enjoy this game. Great art style? Check. Excellent level design? Check. Effective and enjoyable combat system? Check. And the list will just go on. Hollow Knight is another game about which I find it really hard to complain against. Add in the storytelling in this game and the overall atmosphere with the music and art style and the adorable character designs, this game is hard to dislike. Hard to put in lower ranks even. The only complaint that I have are some of the bosses, but even the bad bosses in this game gave me a good time, or at least are such that I cannot call them outright poor design choices. As a matter of fact, two of my most favorite boss battles are in this game. The basic enemy designs for most part may be weak, but given this is a 2D action platformer, everything sits well. One thing about the entertainment media that I always find intriguing is that every project does not need to implement the best of every element. Instead, they need to implement the best combination of every element. Hollow Knight finds the perfect combination of various elements it implements. Platforming, enemy designs that complements those platforming sections, either directly or indirectly, and of course the map layouts and designs are a part of it. And to add into all of this, exploration actually feels fruitful. It's not some useless item to be found. We can actually get things that actually matters. Hidden NPCs, health upgrades, charms, and many more. It's surprising how a 2D platformer did exploration better than open world RPGs. I think the only complaints I have against this game are that some of the bosses can just be tedious and that the devs worked extra hard to hide away contents. That definitely made exploration fruitful, but at the same time did entice me to go check out online guides. So that's it folks. These are my top 5 games out of the ones that I've played this year. Do you agree with it or do you have a different opinion? Share your thoughts in the comments, I'd like to know them. And if it may interest you, I have a library of various videos on my channels from playthroughs to reviews that you may like to watch. All are nicely segregated in playlists. Also, I also go live almost daily playing different games. So if all these seems like your thing, then please do subscribe. Hope to see you next time. Take care.